Welcome back to another edition of the B4evaKool podcast. My name is Rex45.
My name is TJ with two L's and coffee.
What's going on, man? How are things?
Everything's good. Feel like we just skip right over spring. Feel like summer's here, uh, but the weather's nice. Bikes are out. This is the time of the year, so everything is good on my end. So how about yourself?
Uh, Not good on my end. um,
Yeah, I heard a few things.
yeah, man. So the biggest thing lately is the my truck is down and out, which is unfortunate. I was hoping it was going to be something minor, um, but it is definitely major. So I need to get my engine replaced. Not something I'm excited about, but it is what it is. And so hopefully it'll be ready before the next round, which is I think June 15th weekend or something like that. I'm going to Roebelin, so sounds like it's going to be ready. But yeah, I didn't. There's obviously nobody ever plan on replacing their engine, and it's not for performance reasons.
Right? Yeah, that's tough, man. Sorry to hear that. And it's always something that leads up to adversity when you have something fun planned. So um, yeah, hope for the best. Hope you can get that before that round. But if you don't have to rush into it, wouldn't rush into it.
Right. I mean, I was thinking about doing a little bit of mods on it now that it's all apart and stuff like that, but I'm gonna wait. So yeah, so that's the downside of what's going on lately. So I made it up to Loudon. It was good to see you in person because it's been a minute.
Yep.
Um, Loudon was fun to. It's weird being at the track and not racing. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that was a little weird, but it was good to get up there and see everyone that I haven't seen all season. And I mean, it was a little bit rainy, but still, good time.
Yeah, the first day, Friday, I was up there. It was nice and dry, but Saturday, the rain didn't want to stay away, so it was coming down. But they were still riders out there putting in some good laps. But it was good to see you out there.
Yeah, man. So yeah, in a couple of weeks, it looks like not it looks like the Loudon Classic. You got to be excited about that. I
Oh,
saw a entry list already. Some big names coming up to Loudon.
oh yeah, I'm definitely excited, and see there's more to it this year. Like they have the baggers and a couple other races, but yeah, it's gonna be a great time. We just hope for the opposite weather of last year, but it would be what it is. Either way, it'll just be an overall fun time. I know just seeing all the cool guys racing and all the teams. I'm sure they'll be showing up with the big rigs and it's just gonna be a madhouse getting your spot set up and stuff. So it's just a fun time overall.
And yep, and as we always say, get there early.
I mean, you try to, and then there's always something like last year. I think some other event was going on, so you couldn't arrive at a certain time.
Right, I remember that.
And if you was practicing, you had to leave before. Like I don't know, it was something else. But
Well, it's year two, so I think things will
yep.
be a little bit smoother. I think they have a better idea of what it's going to be like and stuff like that. And I saw coming up there last time. I see going out to the hot pit. You have to go around like you're going around tech now, especially if you're in the middle building or in the field, in field. Which is usually you can just cut through by the bathroom by where Seacoast have
Yep.
their tent set up and selling parts and stuff like that. So it looks like we're not going to be able to do that anymore.
Yeah, so they actually it was a traffic flow that they put together last year during the classic because they knew a lot of riders were coming in and there's going to be a lot of people. And before the club racing, we were used to just cutting through that side by the bathroom, just going any which way to get to the track. But
Right, free for
we
all.
always had a little close calls with someone coming off or coming around the side of the building. So I actually think the flow pattern is pretty cool. It just makes it a little easier, and it looks like we're sticking with it because it's still going on.
Right,
So it's pretty cool.
nice. Any big favorites you think for the classic? You wanna put it on the show, or you just gonna enjoy and not worry about it?
This year I'm gonna just enjoy it, but I want hometown like last year, uh, to be top 5. I think we were close. I think Eli was up there
Right, I think
and
so. Yeah,
such, but
yeah. I mean, I think he crashed out on the last lap, and but he was I think he was in the top five on that last lap.
yeah.
Um,
Man, that the last lap of last year was restarted like 8 times, so I don't know who really finished
that's fair
at
enough.
what position. It was a little chaotic, but yeah, so I want to see a local guy, and then it'll be cool. I mean, don't want to see like Tyler Scott repeat, but that'd be cool if he repeat.
Right. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to make it, but I may not be able to this year, which is unfortunate. But I gotta assume it's gonna be a good time. Let's moving from local racing, let's jump into MotoGP, and a lot's going on. We just found out that Alicia's retiring at the end of the season. That's huge.
Oh yeah. From what I know of Leish, just know that he's an aggressive rider. I mean, he's a hard worker. You can tell. He got. I mean, I'm sure most of them got kids, but he got kids that he's always a part of, and for what he's done over the careers, he's just a good teammate overall. And for what he's done to Aprilia, I think he's changed that bike, you know, um, to where it should be. Um, and hopefully going forward, they can take that what he's done and improve it.
Yeah. I will say it is. Yeah, it's a changing of the guards. Change. I mean, it's been changing because he's one of the few older riders in MotoGP right now. And when I started following MotoGP, which is probably a little bit over 10, 11 years ago now. I remember these guys as young riders, and they were on different teams back then and so forth. He had a chance to. I believe he rode with Suzuki. I believe it was him that rode with Suzuki before he went. And having siblings in MotoGP is a rarity. You look at the Marquez brothers are the only one. I mean, Rossi and Marini as well. But they were like one of the real. They Pole and Aleix were. Aleix was in it for 18 years. And a Pole probably close to the 16 because he obviously his accident, and he now he's a backup rider and a test rider for the
Yeah.
KTM brand, so he's not riding as much. It, and he's done a lot for Aprilia as well. So watching him from the time I started following it and until now, and to see what he's gone through, and you know the tough times. I mean, he's been in MotoGP and he won his first race 2 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, like I didn't realize I didn't realize how much at this time how much pull he has. Like they were talking to Maverick. Like you said, he was on Suzuki back in 20, I don't know, 16 or something like that, but his teammate was Maverick.
Right.
And him going to Aprilia when Maverick was going through his situation kind of helped him get to Aprilia. So, they asked when Maverick leaves, like, what are you gonna do? Or like, is it gonna be a change? Like, I mean, that's a bad way to try to move people around, but it's just how much pull someone has.
Right.
Like when he's gone, it's just like, do they want Maverick still? But
Well,
yeah, Leish, he won his first race 2 years ago,
yeah,
I think, and it was only on Aprilia.
exactly. And I didn't realize he was at Aprilia for you know 7 years,
Some
and
good times, yeah.
yeah, and I mean, not in the beginning. He crashed a lot. I
Oh yeah,
mean that and he said in his press conference that he thought about retiring, and his wife convinced him to stick around, and I'm glad that he did. We're glad that he did because we got to see some amazing riding from him, and he also. He has some memories and some moments because I got to believe it would have been tough for not necessarily tough for him, but people get into these sports at these high level, they want to win, right? And if it's not an overall championship, they at least want to win races. So for him to be an elite rider and didn't win for so long, that has to do something to the psyche as well. So I think for him, it's I'm great that I'm happy that he he got the chance to be on the podium, had a chance to run up front and show how competitive he is. Unfortunately, it's at it's 33, 34 when that's happening instead of 23, 24. But nonetheless, I'm happy to see that. And he said in the press conference that he was. It's a relief after saying he's going to retire because the level of which you have to train and commit that wears on the psyche, right? So again, it's one of those things where like the man is, he's happy. He said he saw his brother, how happy his brother was after he not being a full time rider and stuff like that, and that had a large part in him stepping away, just to take it easy a little bit. So we're gonna miss him, but
I agree with that.
we got all year to watch him, and hopefully he'll get on a podium. As he said, hopefully the guys will feel bad for him and let him win this weekend. So you'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, for his career, I mean, he got 5 wins. He's been on the podium 14 times. I mean, for his age is also, I think, a really good thing because, like, as far as me, club racing, my age, and then when I go, you see riders older than myself, you're like, oh, I can still do this.
Right.
So like, so these younger riders that are out there that putting in a lot of work, like let's say Pedro Acosta, if he's healthy and well throughout his career, if he can do like 15, 16 years, that like Aleix done it, Rossi's done it, Marquez is up there. There's a lot of riders that, are of age that are still can put in the competition.
Right.
So it's good to see that he made it to this point and for what he's done so far. So pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, I think the young riders do
Mm.
see the senior guys, for lack of a better word, and they're investing in their bodies, more now these days. They're
Mhm.
definitely, training a lot better and stuff like that. So it's great to see, and can't wait to see what the rest of the year looks like for him. With that said, and you brought up Maverick, um, he doesn't have a contract yet.
Yeah.
So we know one seat's going to be available for 2025, but he doesn't have a contract yet. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he should. I mean, he's fit there. Like he's done so well this year. We've seen what he can do on other manufacturers, and like I think they shouldn't wait. He should just be resigned. Like Elation, like you said, Elation and Maverick been teammates. They kind of like brothers. So like I don't know, they should sign him and continue on with his feedback and everything. So
Yeah, I feel like he's gonna get signed because it'd be crazy to let him go. Because I can't imagine they're gonna bring in new two new
new
riders
riders, yeah.
on the factory team. I think they're gonna keep one guy that's doing well, and then if
They have to.
Fernandez does well enough, maybe Fernandez might move up. But when you got Ducati with one factory seat available and three guys looking for that seat. We already hear that Bastianini and Jorge Martin is talking to the factory team and possible even Mark Marquez. But I think Mark Marquez is not going to go to another team, another bike. I mean, I think unless Ducati doesn't want him or something happens, I don't think that he's going to go to another bike. I think he just wants to win, and he's already loving that bike. So I don't, and I don't believe he needs the money. I'm not his financial manager, but
Mm.
he took a hit leaving Honda. So if he needed the money, he could have just stuck with Honda.
I'm sure his dad's getting paid too. He's always there. I'm sure the whole family of Marquez is getting paid. Yeah, he don't need the money for sure. I mean, he sells himself with his number and all his apparel. So
Right. And from from listening to some of the press conference, it sounds like Red Bull is paying a lot of his salary and not Grassini, so that's also crazy. So when you have a sponsor that can pay for you to go ride, that's a beautiful thing.
right, like yeah, he's been with Red Bull for quite some time. So sure he got the bag.
Yeah, yeah, he got
But yeah, I mean,
he
I,
got
I
the
don't
bag.
see him going to another team as well. I mean, for what his stage, like his career, like there's no time to be just keep switching back. He's trying to win. So I think the Ducati reps see that, and I don't know. It's gonna be a tough decision, but I mean, I don't I don't know. Mark Marquez is looking good.
Yeah, he definitely is. So
I
that
can't
leaves
just trump over the other two. So
right, and so that leaves really Bashnini and Jorge Martin. Now I was listening to Simon on their show earlier, and and I've said this already on our show. I don't think Mark Marquez should get the factory seat. He had different reasons than I had, but it's the same thing. It's kind of like he like Jorge Martin is been doing the work, right? The only person really he should be fighting against is Bastianini. Now, Bastianini, like I said, I feel like he should get another shot. Bastianini. I feel bad for Martin in that sense because obviously he's doing really well, but Bastianini's right behind him. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, and the championship is early, so we're not going to sit here and say, well, he's 30 points up, so obviously he has it. I mean, we still got like 15 rounds left or something like that. So it's still a long season. So I mean, and so I mean, obviously, I think Bastianini got to win some races and stuff like that to kind of prove his point. But it does look like Jorge Martin will get the seat, the factory seat, based on what people are saying and stuff like that. I think it's just they're just waiting it out. But that means Bastianini will have to go somewhere else. But I hope he gets to stick around another year.
that'll be yeah. I hope he sticks around another year. But like I said,
With Ducati,
Martin
with
is
Ducati.
yeah,
So.
and Martin is just. I mean, I thought he deserved it last year, but for the sake of Bastianini being hurt, um, and but I think
Well, you
that
mean sorry
for
to
how
cut you
he's
off. It's the year before because I believe Bastianini had a
the
two
year
year
before.
a
Sorry,
two, a 2 year deal. So, but
yeah, sorry, the year before.
and we say that because Bastianini was hurt, right? So it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
Martin deserved it after looking at the end of last year, but that's because Bastianini was hurt. And last year he got on the he won before the season was over, Bastianini, and he's number three in the championship right now, and so you know it's a tough decision for Ducati, but I do think it's between Bastianini and Jorge Martin, not necessarily Mark Marquez.
I mean, either decision is gonna break some hearts. So,
Yeah.
but um, I'm sure they'll know the right person to pick.
Well, yeah,
I
it's
think
like
it's gonna be it's gonna be a calmer rider. I'm sure.
yeah. And it's not a given that Bastianini or Jorge Martin would go to Aprilia because there's still other riders in Moto Two that's possible that could come up. And I from what I hear, Joan Mir might be looking to go somewhere else as well. So you never know. And there's also Morbidelli because Morbidelli might have to go
Right.
somewhere else as well. But he might not because if Martin goes to Ducati or leaves, then he may stay with Pramac for another year. Who knows? But it sounds like the guys that have factory seats tend to want and lose the seat, and when they go to another manufacturer or another team, they want to get back on a factory bike. You look at the Joan Mir getting the factory seat when Suzuki left. So it'll be interesting to see. Even though Mark Marquez says he doesn't want a factory ride, he just wants to ride. It seems like I don't know if there's a chip on the shoulders of riders, but they all want factory seats.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I think he's been there so long. He just wants a good bike at the end of the day. But of course, he wants a factory seat for sure.
Okay.
But Morbidelli, I think he should get another shot. And then if it obviously you don't want to take the weak link. I'm not saying he's a weak link, but I think he should get like one more year. And if it doesn't work out, then like that seat's gonna have to be free. Jawan Mir, like I think he should leave Honda for sure because I don't know what is going on. That bike is just not suited for him, or I don't know why they can't change it to suit his style, but it's just it hasn't been working out for, especially last year, um, and soon and the year before when he left Suzuki.
Right. Well, it's not the bike's not working for anyone.
Yeah,
But
that is a fact.
it's psyche, right? Because like Zarco, he's the mentality of like, okay, I'll help build the bike, get the bike better again. He's Elish essentially when Elish went to Aprilia, and I mean Mir obviously is younger and probably wants to like Marquez fight up front, and so that's a different mindset to have when you're trying to win. But I mean, I think if Mir sticks around, and I do believe Honda will figure it out. I don't. I mean, I do believe they will figure it out. They definitely have the money and the smarts to figure it out. So I don't, but I don't know if that. I mean, it's still
Think
probably
so?
three. I think it's probably like 2 to 3 years away still.
Oh, I
But
was gonna say good. Maybe 2027 when the new bikes come around.
you know what I'm saying? It's not like they're just gonna come out and just be dominant. I mean, Ducati, they started to show the bike's greatness a little bit here and there, but it hasn't been consistent until the year Pecco won.
Yeah, no, I agree to that. I don't know. I like I said, Zarco is definitely sticking it out. Um, they're definitely like at ground zero. I just hopefully they can change it around and you know then American, because like when you know you can run up front, especially if you have a championship, uh, and then the bike's just not giving it to you and you just can't get to where you were. That has to mess you up mentally,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and just be frustrating where you're like, I know I can be top 10 or whatever, and like I'm giving my all with this bike and I just can't do it.
Oh yeah.
And every day you got to come out and do the same thing, and you already kind of know what your result is going to be, and you still got to go out and do it. It's just
Yeah, no,
it's like Honda, help me.
yeah, exactly. No, it's definitely hard. I saw a video of a guy talking about he had brake issues. It wasn't brake issues. The bike wasn't running right, and it took him about a year and a half to figure it out. And I'm just like, man, every time you go to the track and your bike ain't running right, and you just got to live with that. And my 22 KTM is having issues now, and until I get it resolved, like I'm not bringing it back to the track because it's not safe, right? You got your bike cutting off out there, and there's riders behind you. It's definitely not safe. So I can't even, so what Mir is going through for a whole year. I mean, 2 years now because this is the second year. I don't, they're making the money, so hopefully that makes up for it. But it's going to be hard. It has to be hard.
I can tell it's hard. I mean, like I said, last year crashing out, we finished like one or two Grand Prix, and it's just
Right.
that kind of is embarrassing, and it's just tough on probably the body because falling so much and
Right.
the mind.
I mean, just look at Mark Marquez, right? Last year to this year, the
Oh,
man is up on stage dancing. You know what I'm saying?
oh, he's dancing with the performers. He's having a great old time. So
Yeah. So
it,
and you didn't see that last year or the year before from him. So and so yeah, it's tough. It got to be tough. But I think when with the rule changes in 27 as well, we'll almost give a reboot to everyone. So realistically, I think for Honda, they probably already started developing that 850 engine and everyone and all that. So I think for them, they may just say, "Hey, we'll wait till 2027 and and work that bike out instead." Who knows? But it's tough to watch.
we think they're trying to take away Ducati's success, just
I,
cutting down the CC.
I'll say this right. I don't remember Ducati having these concessions back in 2015, in 2014 when they were struggling, in 2016. I don't, not that I would have to go back and watch the videos and stuff just to see if they did, but I don't remember that. I think KTM and Aprilia had it, but I don't remember Ducati having it. And even KTM, I believe, lost theirs relatively quick. Yeah, I forget when they lost it, but it was once they started to get a little better results, they lost it. So where Yamaha and Honda have these concessions, I mean, I get it because, well, I don't get it because once upon a time it was only Yamaha, Honda that was competitive like all the weekend, right? It was either Honda or Yamaha that was winning. There was no,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? There was nothing else. So, you know what I mean? And so that's the thing. To go back to your question, do I think they're trying to sabotage or do something? Yeah. I think they did that when they they restricted wings a few years ago and stuff like that, and and I get it, but it like I said, when Marquez got what six world titles with Honda, and Rossi got a few, and Lorenzo got on the Yamaha side as well. So these guys got a lot of world titles. Honda and Yamaha got a lot of world titles, and they were please they weren't thinking about Ducati. They so not to say I don't feel bad for Honda in that sense, and like what I can tell, they're getting more concessions, like I said, than Ducati had way back when. And is the rule changes in 27? Well, you got all new bikes coming out in 2027, so now everybody going to start again, right? So it's like almost like a
It's
reboot.
like, yep. And like I think like the Ducati is known for that top speed, especially on the straightaway.
Yeah.
Like I mean, the CC is only going down like what 100 and something, but I'm sure like they're still gonna be fast bikes. And
Well, so
but
here's the interesting thing, and I think I mentioned this last time. They are working on
850.
slowing down the 1000cc super bikes, right? And they're testing it in BSB this year. So the BSB bikes this year are slower. I don't know if it's every round, but just to test it, because you can't have World Superbike and Motor America and every other class that's running super bikes faster than MotoGP. That what I'm saying, that doesn't make any sense. And they're the top of the sport, right? So it'll be interesting to see, because I mean they could, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And I don't know why 850. From what I understand, it's not going to make that much difference in top speed and stuff like that. From what people the 850 to the thousands or the nine whatever seat is, I think it's under 1,000. So we will have to wait and see, though, right? So, but I think it's going to be less fatigue for people for sure, because it's less horsepower. And they think it's going to be more competitive. So, and it's pretty competitive now. I mean, you got top 15 riders a second from each other, a second a little bit from each other. So this is already competitive. So it's going to be more of a spectacle, I guess, because it's going to be a lot more
Man, I
passing.
think I think where they're at now, like the bikes are like to me, I think the bikes are perfect. I mean, obviously they're super fast, but for the technology that they have, I think it makes the riders a little safer. Um, like I said, they're like 12, 15 riders within 1 second of each other, or a
Right.
second and a half. So it is pretty competitive. But every year you want to improve. So like, where do you go from here? So that's why I think it's, I guess, okay to, well, my perspective, to go
Right.
down to 850, because eventually you'll improve and get better from there.
Right. And I think
I'm
they're
sure
trying.
other manufacturers will figure it out.
Right, and I think they're trying to take away as you were just mentioning, the electronics as well, because there's going to be less electronics. And what from riders are saying, if you take the electronics off the current bikes, you couldn't ride them. So
Right.
you know what I mean. So and I've heard Casey Stoner mention that, and it is one of those things, like they're doing all they're doing because the computer is helping them, and so it's not like them alone. So I think with the 850, it'd be more rider control than less.
Well, luckily they'll get practice before, but I'm sure, well, not sure, but sounds like it's gonna be some high side central at first,
Right.
and then they'll get used to not feeling that traction control or whatever ride height device going into corners.
Yeah, and I heard, I don't know if it was another writer or a commentator saying, like, I think it's the first three gears in the MotoGP bikes, they don't get full power. They can twist the throttle, but they're not getting the full power at those first three gears, maybe three or four. And so that's also the thing, right? So now obviously you can ride a lot. You can have the throttle wide open, and it's not full power. So maybe you're riding it like a middleweight bike in the first three gears, right? Because it's not as crazy.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be interesting, but a couple years away from that, and like I said, I think it's just to change up the competition. I think it's because Ducati is just dominating, and they got 8 bikes, and um, teams are struggling.
Right.
So
No, definitely. So what are your thoughts on the sprint this weekend? What are your thoughts on the race? Well, as who you got your money on, if you're a betting man?
so interesting. Since we're talking about Well, knowing that the race, the practice didn't start, I haven't seen anything yet. But going off the results from last year, like speaking on Alicia's retirement, so I guess this is kind of a special track because last year was redemption for him
Mm-hmm.
for what he did the previous year.
Right.
I don't know if you remember, but the previous year,
Celebrating too soon.
he was in first place and he thought the race was over,
Yeah.
and he had like another lap or two,
Yeah.
and he finished like fifth or something. So that was devastating to him.
Right.
And last year, I'm sure he's like, that ain't happening again. So I think he pulled off a first last year again. So I think the pro years will do pretty well. I think they have this track dialed in, or at least Alish. So I think the Alish will probably be up top three. Um, when it comes to the sprint, I'm gonna say Martine, and hopefully Brad Bender can get back up there. Um, but in the GP, um, I'll say Leish, Jorge, and Pecco.
Right. Yeah. It's
Marcus still, I think, gonna be fighting.
yeah. It's that's a hard one. I mean, that is like I yeah. Um, I'm gonna say Pecco is gonna win, and he's gonna win the sprint and the GP, and because he has to.
Clean sweep this weekend.
And well, just the just the rounds that he's the bad luck that he's had. Um, so far, and again, he's in second place, right? So I know it's not crazy bad luck, but nonetheless, he needs a not to say but he needs a good result. I mean, I think that if he's trying to do a three-peat, like he has to get it together before I think the winter break.
Yeah. I think definitely for sure he doesn't like sprints, so he's gonna have to put something together. Just get a few points, something. Just get
Mm, right, no
be
doubt. Yeah,
top nine.
yeah.
So
So yeah, so I guess I did. So yeah, uh, Pecco to win. Bezecchi's on the podium. Mark Marquez is on the podium.
we love the Ducatis.
Slow than Ducatis. I didn't say Jorge Martin, but he has a
It's
pretty
all
good
right.
shot of winning it. But I think these other guys, their time is due coming and it's due. So it's gonna. It's hard to sustain. They're not gonna keep making mistakes. Right, Mark Marquez is not going to
Right.
continue to make mistakes, crashing out or whatever happened. These guys, like they're not going to continue to make these mistakes. So, and I think Jorge Martin has made fewer mistakes so far.
Yeah. Like I said, I think Alais, she's won two. Well, could have won twice in a row. So I think he's ready, especially after he announced his retirement. When you
Right.
go out there, it's just like going to the classic or something. It's like a big day for you. So
Exciting
hopefully he
times,
rides
man.
smart and give his all and stays up front.
No doubt, man. I can't wait. Lots of racing to watch this weekend. I want to thank everyone for subscribing and liking. We appreciate it for even contributing to the poll. Definitely continue to do that. Like and subscribe. We'll continue to try to give you some good content often as we can. Want to shout out the sponsors. Workbench Technology. Go to Workbench Tech to get your IT solution. Also, Hamden Yard. Go to hyboston.com and get fresh. My name is Rex45. Go ahead, man. Shout out your sponsors, man.
Yeah, I love racing. By the way, I love racing. But J&G Performance, Hideaway RV Rentals, Woodcraft Technologies, and Official Vortex been helping me for my time on the track. So I appreciate it. And my name is TJ with two L's in coffee.
Peace.
Peace out.